So yesterday I just made a video demoing Gemini 3, and now I saw that Opus 4.5 came out, and I figured, hey, let's just go ahead and play with this. I did cancel my Claude Code subscription because I've been just using Composer 1 in Cursor because it just works so well. I am going to test Opus 4.5 with this game. We're going to try to add in one new feature and also try to refactor some code and see how it does. So the first feature I want to add in is the ability to upgrade walls. So in this game, we can actually drop a wall, and I want to be able to come here and like upgrade it with like pressing U or something, or maybe we can even like build another wall and stack it on top, and that could also count it as like an upgraded wall. So for example, if I go over here and click on this, it could make it into a new type of upgraded structure. So which, by the way, if you guys want to learn more about agentic coding, which I've been doing for like a year or two now using Cursor and Claude Code, I have a course that I'm working on called agenticjumpstart.com. You can join the wait list. I have a bunch of videos where I teach about the basics of agentic coding, Claude Code, Cursor, and then we're going to build out an entire full stack web application using agentic coding. We also have Sentry guns as well, which I think being able to upgrade those might be pretty cool. In terms of the upgrading, I do want to go over here and make a quick little sprite so we can actually like visualize what the upgraded wall kind of looks like. My sprite sheet is a complete mess, so we're just going to hack at this real quick. Now to designate it's like upgraded, we're going to go ahead and just put some darker colors on it. So it's like steel instead of wood. Could even put some gold on it. How about that? The design doesn't matter. We can come back and fix this in a bit. But what I want to do is get the coordinates. So it's 144.64. Go ahead and export this. I want to add in the ability to upgrade structures. So for example, if I already have a wall placed down on the game, if I build another wall and put it directly on top using the placeable approach that we have in the code base, it should upgrade the wall to a level 2 structure. The sprite for the level 2 structure is at X 144 and Y 64 inside the item sprite sheet. And once a wall has been upgraded, if I were to pick it up, it's going to put that level 2 structure in my code base, and it's going to be a completely separate stackable item put into the inventory. And it has double the HP as before, for the wall at least. When designing and building out this upgradable approach, make sure you keep the code extendable and abstract enough, because I do plan to add this to the Sentry gun and other structures as well. So we can upgrade a Sentry gun to level 1, 2, 3, or the wall to level 1, 2, 3. Only focus on the wall. I just wanted to give you some extra context so when you're designing the code, you make sure that everything is written in an extendable way going forward. Let's just go ahead and kick off this prompt. And I do want to verify this says Opus 4.5 is my current model. And I do want to make sure it is using the latest model so we can kind of give a real demonstration of the power of this model. All right, I'm really going to stress the API of Claude Code, so I'm also going to prompt off another one over here to try to add in the ability for users to pick different color characters, right? So right now, like every character kind of looks the same, but I think when you join, it would be cool if you can actually change the default color of your character. I want to add in the ability for a user to change their color of the character. So in the game, the top left menu, add a new menu item option called Change Character, and then show a panel that has like a preset of 12 really common vivid colors that a user can pick from. Now, when a user picks a color, I want to make sure that is replicated between the client and the server so that every other client can render that colored character properly. Now, in terms of rendering out this colored character, for right now, I don't want to have to make a separate sprite sheet for every single character. So instead, I need you to do this inside of the HTML5 canvas. Find a way to pre-render the color sprites. Look at the asset.ts file to figure out where the sprites are loaded in. And for characters, I want you to also just pre-render all of them with a set of whatever those primary colors that I mentioned before, so that when we're trying to render them on the client, we can go ahead and see them rendered out with a colored overlay. Okay, so let's just kick this one off as well. Hopefully that's enough information for it to actually be successful. I'll just say like colors here, and then we will just let these two things cook. Now, I do want to kick off a third prompt in a bit to do refactoring, but I don't know how much, Opus 4.5 we have access to. So I'm just going to let these two terminals run, and then when it's done, hopefully that third prompt will still be able to use the Opus 4.5 before we hit whatever usage limits that they're probably in place. All right, it looks like both of those prompts are done. Let's check out if it was able to add in either of those with a one-shot prompt. All right, so let's go up here, and we're going to change the character, and we have all these different colors we can select. I'll go ahead and try red, and I have a nice little red tint there. Let's actually try lime and see what happens there. Or actually, we do like green. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, this is the first iteration. I do want to have custom skins, but I want to make sure that if I were to load up another terminal and change my character to like red, do I have two different characters running around? And it looks like it did properly do that. All right, let me test out the other feature. I'm going to try to spawn a wall. In fact, I'll spawn two of them. And it was supposed to be able to place a wall, and then later on you can place another wall on top, and that'll upgrade it. But it doesn't seem like that actually works. So we'll go back and try to reprompt this upgradable structure. For some reason, I'm not able to upgrade the structure by placing another wall on top of an existing wall. The original acceptance criteria was I can place a wall on the ground, and then if I were to place another wall of the same level on top of that wall, it'll upgrade it to level 2. And then I have to do the same thing to get it from level 2 to level 3. It's asking about the new coordinates for the level 3 wall, so I guess it's trying to add in the level 3. I'm gonna select below the level 2 sprite. So we'll do this one and submit. All right, looks like this is done. Let's go and just retest this. Okay, so I have a wall, and can I put a wall on top? And it upgraded it. Okay, let's make sure we can't upgrade it with the lower wall. And you can't. That's good. So I'd actually have to go and basically upgrade this one. Let me just get a bunch of these. Okay, so I have to put those down to upgrade them. And then I have to pick these up. Upgrade it to a level 3. Yeah, I mean, that works. So basically 2 prompts, and now we have the ability to upgrade walls from level 1 to 2 to 3. And I'm curious if the Sentry gun, if I could just go ahead and use the same context and just have it do the same thing for the Sentry guns, because it'll probably just reuse the existing logic. I don't think we have a Sentry gun level 3 or 2. All right, that should be good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and find the Sentry gun, which is this one right here, and put another one. And then for level 2, we'll put 2 turrets like this. And for level 3, we will do 3 turrets. And just move it down a little bit, and then we're going to erase some of the stuff. And then we'll do the same type of structure. We'll do brown for like the entry level one. I need to come back through and actually make these like better. And then we'll do like a dark, this color. And again, I'll probably come back through and like refactor this stuff, but we're going to export this. And then we're going to get this location. It is location 144, 128. I need you to also do the same thing with the Sentry gun, where I can upgrade from level 1 to 2 to 3 with the exact same type of business requirements. And the X location is 144 for the Sentry gun. The Y is 128 for the level 2 sprite, and then the level 3 sprite is right below the level 2 sprite. And in terms of the differences, a level 2 Sentry should shoot twice as fast, and a level 3 Sentry should shoot 3 times as fast. Now, while that's doing its thing, I want to make sure it plays a noise when I upgrade. So I'm going to go ahead and just unmute myself real quick. Yep, looks like it does. Now, I did want to check out my usage as I'm like adding these features. I'm at 20% for the session, which is pretty good. I could keep on basically adding a decent amount of features up until 9 p.m. And then down here, it says we've removed the cap on Opus. So I could literally keep on prompting Opus 4.5 up until my limit. So this is a pretty good deal in my opinion. I mean, like so far, the accuracy of Opus, like it one-shotted the color thing with the new panel, which is pretty cool. And then the upgradable structures, 2 prompts, and we're basically working, and a 3rd prompt to add it to the Sentry guns as well. And then I'm going to add another prompt to add it to the spikes. Can you also apply this same pattern to the spikes so that you can make it do 2 damage for a level 2 spike and 3 damage for a level 3 spike? And then while it's doing that, let's just go ahead and grab the spikes, and we're going to go ahead and paste those down here. Same idea. We're going to go ahead and just change the colors a little bit. So for the level 2, we will do, and then level 3 will be the red with the orange tips. And I need to go back and add some orange colors to the Sentry guns. And then as far as the location for this is 128, 128, and then 128, 144. All right, let's just kick off this one as well. And now we can add upgradable Sentry guns. After playing with these models, I went ahead and just resubscribed my Claude Code subscription. I did cancel like a couple days ago because I'd just been using Cursor with Composer 1 and Gemini. But after being able to add these 2 features with like a couple of prompts, I think I might just keep it. I mean, Opus 4.5 seems like it's a pretty good model, and it seems like it's pretty accurate. I was also watching another YouTuber do a live stream, and he implemented something in like a couple prompts that literally took me a couple of days, if not weeks, last year when I was playing around with these models, to basically add automated captions to the videos using FFmpeg. Opus 4.5 basically one-shotted that prompt. And so I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty powerful. Let's check out the features now. So we're going to go back. We have the Sentry gun 1, 2, 3. I'm going to spawn a bunch of them. Okay, we'll put 2 upgraded. Upgraded those as well. I can't, oh, there we go. And then we upgraded to 3. There we go. Now let's spawn a boss zombie and see how fast this thing can just tear through it. I'm going to do a big zombie. So the normal Sentry gun is about 3 seconds. This one's 150 milliseconds. This one's a second. So it's definitely much faster and it has more health, which is pretty nice. Let's also check out the spikes. Let's go and find the spikes. Where are they at? Here they are. Spawn a couple of those. Okay, we can upgrade those. Pretty cool. I'll put a zombie on top of them. They should do 2 times damage. I should be able to shoot this once and kill it. Okay, so we know the damage is working. And then I'm going to upgrade both of these. And they should one-shot zombies now. So if I go and spawn a zombie. Boom. All right, that's pretty good. Let's check out usage and see where we're at. So now we're at 23%. So I mean, like, we're able to basically one-shot these features so fast, which is pretty crazy. We're going to go ahead and just add all these changes. So let me switch it back to list view, and I'm going to add all those. And now we're going to do a refactoring. I'm going to test out Opus 4.5 with a refactoring round, which I think will be a good stress test for it. Now, at some point, I may try to go back and try the exact same prompts with Composer 1 and just see if it can do the exact same level of quality with like one prompt. Like maybe I'll test the colors one with Composer 1 and see if it can get it done. So we managed to add in 3 new items and the colors panel. So 2 new features basically. I want to also test out the refactoring capabilities of Opus 4.5. So we're going to go ahead and just ask it to refactor this whole assets thing. And I'm going to let it cook itself right now. It's a pretty complicated approach to loading in the assets. There's a lot of different functions and stuff. I want to see if it can simplify it. So I'm going to go ahead and just paste in this whole thing. I want you to find a way to redesign and refactor this assets.ts file. Right now it's overly complicated. The necessary code to load in different assets and sprite sheets feels a little bit too overwhelming. Also, the fact that we're falling back on a default sprite sheet every single time. I want you to remove the fallback. Every single item in the items config must require a sprite sheet defined, and you should throw an error if someone forgets to define one in that configuration file, or in fact in any of the configuration files for items, weapons, characters, etc. Really think hard, ultra think, and make this as clean as possible. I don't know if we even need ultra think, honestly, but I'm going to add it in anyway. Let's just go ahead and kick this off, and I'll come back and check it. There's one more thing I want to test out. When I have multiple Molotov cocktails or like other items and I try to sell them, notice that it sells the entire stack and I only get 10 coins for it, but I should have gotten 30 coins. And it should only sell 1 at a time. That's kind of a huge issue. So we're going to kick off another one down here since we literally have access to it. And I'm going to try to prompt that. There seems to be a bug when I sell items in the merchant panel. It actually sells the entire stack of my inventory instead of selling the default stack count. For example, when I try to sell a Molotov cocktail, I had 4 in my inventory and I clicked sell. I only got 10 coins for it, but it removed everything from my inventory. All 4 of them were removed from my inventory. It should have just removed 1 at a time and given me the 10 gold, and I should have had to click sell 3 additional times to sell the remaining that were in my inventory. So make sure for every single item in the game, if you're trying to sell it to the merchant, make sure you don't remove the entire item, but just remove or decrement the stack from your inventory. In the edge case where you don't have enough for the actual default stack, so for example, pistol ammo, I think it's 8 in a stack. If you only have 5 in your inventory, do not allow the user to sell that because you need a full 8 in your inventory to be able to sell for the price of the default stack. Again, make sure every single item that is sellable matches this criteria, and make sure the code you write is clean and not repeating a bunch of code everywhere in the code base. Not my best prompt, but we're going to go ahead and just run with it. So it looks like the assets are still working perfectly fine. And I'm going to just go ahead and commit this assets file. I want to look at the diff. So let's open up assets over here. So I managed to shave off 100 lines of code. I don't know if it's really that much of an improvement, but it did remove all that default fallback stuff. And it looks like it did consolidate some of the functions so it's not so like duplicated code everywhere. I probably have to spend more time actually reading through this to make sure that it seems cleaner. Right now, I mean, it's less code. There's not some random import statement down here. The code still seems to run. So I'm going to trust that it did a better job at refactoring this. And it did remove some magic numbers. It actually imported tile size, which is nice because that's actually, well, that should have been in a constant file. So I'm not sure why it didn't properly load that in. But I think that's good enough. It's fine. All right, checking out the merchant panel. It looks like this should have hopefully fixed it. If you go to the merchant over here, it looks like it added some logic to check to make sure you can't sell more than what the default count is. Not enough to meet the default count. Sell for 1 gold. It removed that logic. That was old logic we didn't need. Yeah, let's just test this out. I'm going to go ahead and just load in a couple of Molotov cocktails. I'll do like 4. And then we're going to sell. And it only sold 1 this time. So there is a little bug in the UI. I only have 7 pistol ammo in my inventory. And this should be grayed out because I can't sell it. There is still a little bug. When I have only 7 pistol ammo in my inventory, the merchant panel still shows the pistol as green, and it seems like I can sell it. But when I click on the sell button, it doesn't do anything. Instead, the sell button should be grayed out, and the item should not be green. It should be red, so that it designates to a user that they can't actually sell the item. All right, where are we at? Current session is 30% usage, which is pretty great. We've only used 2% all week. So yeah, this is pretty good. This is definitely worth it in my opinion. All right, looks like it's done. It says render footer. I'm not sure why it oh, I guess there's a footer for the sell. All right, looks like it's done. I should not be able to sell my pistol ammo. Needs more. Okay. I can sell this. I can sell all that stuff. Now can I sell my pistol ammo? I can. And that's how much coins. Now it is kind of confusing. I don't know what that 4 means, honestly, when I'm looking at this. Like, I should probably put a coin icon next to all of these so it's kind of more apparent that this is worth like 4 coins. We could try just prompting that real quick so that it's more apparent to the user what the numbers mean inside of the merchant panel's items cells. Can you put the coin icon to the right of the number? So for example, the pistol ammo just says 4 right now, but it should say 4 and show a picture of the coin sprite. Okay, went and looked up the coin sprite location, and then it's probably just going to update the merchant panel to display those. All right, looks like it's done. Opus 4.5 definitely seems faster than it used to. All right, looks like it's done, and you can see there's a teeny little coin there. It's kind of small, so I might even have it increase the size of it. Let's just go ahead and take a screenshot here, and I will tell it, hey, can you increase the size? Can you increase the size of this? It's kind of small. Still a little bit small, but now we can actually just update this by hand if we want to. So like I can just find what this is at. I might just give it a 24 and just refresh again. Now that I think about it, it might be better if the coin actually just had the number in it. So like just have a large coin and then put like 10 in it. I don't think there's anything that's over like 2 digits. So I think, but I probably won't do that in this video. I just wanted to kind of share with you, adding in a couple of new features, doing some refactoring, and then also fixing a bug in the code base. And so far, Opus 4.5 seems like a pretty good model, right? I honestly just went back and renewed my subscription to Claude Code. I canceled it like a couple days ago because I felt like Composer 1 was doing like what I needed. But I will say that like you get a really good deal with how many prompts you can do with Claude Code. If you're okay with just waiting a little bit, like, okay, you might hit your max if you're doing a lot of coding, and then at 9 p.m. I can just start coding again, right? Versus Cursor with Composer 1, this stuff does add up pretty quickly. Like they do give you free credits, but you'll find yourself hitting this, you know, $100, $200 on-demand usage pretty quick. But overall, I guess I'm just going to keep playing around with these models. I think they're all, you know, catching up to each other very rapidly. And it's just a matter of figuring out which one runs the fastest and gives the highest quality output. And so far, Anthropic has been one of the leaders of like these models. So I'll probably just stick with it for a little bit and then switch back and forth between like Composer 1 and Gemini just to kind of test stuff out. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments, if you tested Opus 4.5 at all, leave a comment below. And other than that, have a good day and happy coding.